Last week at Starbucks, I watched something interesting happen to Frank, a 67-year-old friend of mine. A young barista smiled warmly at him, and you know what he did. He looked away, assuming it was just politeness. They smile at everyone, he told me later. But here's the thing, after 40 years of studying human behavior, I can tell you, there's often much more to those smiles than most older men realize. If you've ever found yourself in Frank's shoes, wondering whether that smile was just courtesy or something more meaningful, you're not alone. Today, I'm going to share what I've learned about why younger women often smile at older men. And trust me, it's not what you might think. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more wisdom about life and relationships. Let's start with what matters most, your earned confidence. 1. Real confidence comes from life experience. Take Bob, a 65-year-old retired teacher from Cleveland. Every morning, he stops by his local diner, orders his usual black coffee, and exchanges a few words with the staff. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's just being himself. And you know what? People notice. The young waitresses often smile at him, not because he's trying to be charming, but because he radiates something rare these days, genuine, earned confidence. This isn't the kind of confidence you see on social media or in those fake-it-till-you-make-it seminars. No, this is the quiet self-assurance that comes from decades of living, learning, and overcoming life's challenges. It's the kind of confidence you've earned through raising families, building careers, and weathering storms. I see it at the community center where I volunteer. There's a world of difference between how younger men and older gentlemen carry themselves. While the younger guys are constantly checking their phones or adjusting their appearance, men our age simply focus on the conversation at hand. We're not trying to prove anything. We've already done that. At the local golf club, at church gatherings, even at the neighborhood cafe, this natural authority shows up in small ways. It's in how you take your time making decisions. It's in how you listen more than you speak. It's in how you handle unexpected situations with calm assurance rather than panic. Remember Tom, 70, who leads the veterans group at our community center? Young volunteers are drawn to his presence not because he's trying to be impressive, but because he simply knows who he is. That kind of authentic self-awareness is magnetic at any age. This confidence makes you fundamentally different from younger men. Here's why. 2. You're different from younger men. Remember how we were at 25, always in a hurry, trying to prove ourselves, worried about what everyone thought. Now, let me share something I noticed at last week's community fundraiser that perfectly illustrates how things have changed. There was this young man, probably in his 30s, constantly checking his phone, laughing too loudly, trying to be the center of attention. Then there was Richard, 72, former business owner, just calmly chatting with everyone who approached him. The difference was striking, like watching a hummingbird next to an oak tree. Think about your own behavior these days. When someone's talking, you actually listen, not just waiting for your turn to speak. When there's a problem, you don't rush to fix it immediately. You take time to understand it first. These aren't just random habits, they're wisdom in action. At my grandson's graduation party last month, I watched how differently the younger and older men handled conversations. The younger guys were jumping from topic to topic, sharing Twitter quotes and viral videos. Meanwhile, Bill, my 68-year-old neighbor, had 3 young professionals completely captivated with his story about building his first business in the 1980s. Why? Because he wasn't trying to impress. He was sharing real experience. This natural way of being, calm, attentive, unhurried. It stands out in today's fast-paced world. Young people notice it because it's so rare. It's like having a comfortable conversation in a world of rushed text messages. This mature approach comes with another powerful quality, true stability. 3, your stability matters. Let me tell you about John, who's 68 and mentors at our local business center. Last month, when a young entrepreneur's startup was falling apart, everyone was panicking, except John. He calmly sat down with her, made a cup of coffee, and helped her break down the problem step by step. That young woman later told me she felt safer in that one-hour conversation than in all her previous business meetings combined. This kind of stability isn't just about having money in the bank, though financial security certainly helps. It's about emotional steadiness. It's about being the person others turn to when things get rough, the voice of reason in chaos, the steady hand in stormy weather. Think about your own life. When your adult children face challenges, they come to you. When there's a crisis in the community, people look to men our age for guidance. Why? Because we've weathered enough storms to know that most problems aren't the end of the world. At my church group, Dave, 71, barely said a word during a heated discussion about fundraising. But when he finally spoke, everyone listened. His calm, "Let's think this through," carried more weight than all the previous excited arguments combined. That's the power of stability. You've built this stability through raising families through good times and bad, navigating career challenges, handling life's major transitions, making tough decisions when necessary, standing firm in your values. Beyond stability lies something even more valuable, your earned wisdom. 4. Wisdom that only comes with time. Think about this. We've lived through moments that young people only study in textbooks. The moon landing, the fall of the Berlin Wall, the birth of the internet. We didn't just read about these events, we experienced them. That's something no college degree can teach. Last week at our community center, I watched George, a retired business owner, mentor a young entrepreneur. The young man was worried about his startup failing. George shared a story from 1987 when his own business nearly went under during the market crash. He explained how he adapted, survived, and eventually thrived. The young entrepreneur sat there, soaking up every word like a sponge. This kind of wisdom isn't theoretical, it's practical, tested by time and circumstances. When my grandson started his first job, he called me about office politics. I shared my experience from 4 decades in corporate America. 2 weeks later, he called back, "Grandpa, that advice was spot on." My boss noticed how I handled the situation. At the golf club yesterday, Frank, my 70-year-old friend, was telling a young caddy about the importance of patience. "Success is like a good golf swing," he said. "It looks easy when done right, but it takes years of practice to make it look that way." The young man's eyes lit up. He got it. With great wisdom comes great responsibility. Let's talk about boundaries. 5. Keeping things appropriate. Let me share something I learned at the community center last month. Jim, a respected 70-year-old volunteer, noticed a young staff member smiling at him frequently. Instead of misinterpreting the situation, he simply remained professional and friendly. Later, she told another volunteer how much she appreciated his mentorship. Exactly what Jim had intended. This brings us to a crucial point. Understanding the difference between friendliness and something more. As Andy Griffith would say, it's all about respect and good judgment. At the local coffee shop, I often see Bob, 68, chatting with the young baristas. He keeps conversations light and public, shares occasional wisdom about career choices, and never crosses professional boundaries. That's why he's become a beloved regular. The staff see him as a trusted elder, not someone trying to be something else. Here's what works. Keep interactions in public spaces. Respond to smiles with simple kindness. Share wisdom when asked. Most importantly, remember that your role as an experienced elder is valuable enough. You don't need to be anything else. Think of it like being a lighthouse. You're there to provide guidance and stability, not to seek attention. When younger people smile at you, it's often because they respect what you represent: wisdom, experience, and dignified confidence. Now let me wrap this up by sharing what all this means for you going forward. Here's the simple truth. Those smiles you receive often reflect the respect you've earned through years of living with dignity and wisdom. It's not about trying to be younger or different. It's about embracing who you are right now. Remember, your experience and stability are valuable gifts to society. Share them wisely, carry yourself with quiet confidence, and keep those appropriate boundaries. I'd love to hear your experiences. Has this helped you understand those interactions better? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this valuable, help other gentlemen our age by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel. Until next time, keep being that lighthouse of wisdom your community needs. Stay confident, stay dignified, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. See you in our next video, where we'll explore more insights for living our best lives after 60.